Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts with breaking news.
That breaking news situation this morning, we know that one person is dead, another is in custody after an incident in kind of the 72nd and Dodge area. You're taking a live look at the area of 72nd and Dodge again. OPD says the officers responded to a call for shots fired. They say a woman was found dead at the scene, and they did identify a suspect. That suspect shot at one of those police cars, but police did fire back. They did not hit that suspect. That suspect was then taken into custody. We do have a photographer at the scene. As you can see, we're hoping to get some more details about this breaking news situation as the morning goes on. In the meantime, it's good to have you with us as we start this Friday morning. I'm Erin Hartley.
I'm Cerise Cole. I'm with Jaron Lansford, Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord. Of course, we have two upcoming First Alert days, and everybody's talking about the snow. So, Rusty, let's start off with how much we're going to get and when we can expect the snow to start to fall.
It'll really start to ramp up Saturday overnight. And so I think we're going to get through most of Saturday without any big problems. But let's show you what we have in here. Sunday's about the First Alert day. We'll talk about the cold with Monday a little bit later. It's going to likely start out as a little mix of a little light freezing drizzle and some light snow anytime after 6 o'clock Saturday night. Now, notoriously, these systems start off very slow. There's a lot of dry air to overcome. We've sat and played this game at home where you're, where's the snow, where's the snow? It has to saturate a lot of the air first, and then the bulk of the snow starts to fall overnight right into Sunday morning, with the heaviest to the south of the metro. Now, let's talk about where we're going with this. Saturday, for the most part, is going to be okay leading up to this. There could be a little light snow in the morning, mainly north of the metro. We'll watch for that. And then we'll watch that system try to start developing Saturday evening. Meantime, during the day, there's probably going to be a lot of waiting and watching, just clouds and cold with not a lot happening. So that's why we made the First Alert day primarily into Sunday, with the bulk of the snow and the impacts happening and building in anticipation of Sunday morning. So here's tonight, I should say, heading into early Saturday. Notice this little stripe of snow. This is the slight little potential we have for Saturday morning that scoots on through. Then by about 6, 7 o'clock, you can see this next batch building in. I think there could be a little freezing drizzle in that. Even though this model doesn't show it, it's going to be trying to form a little freezing drizzle, a little light snow. We'll see how it goes. But overall, it'll all change to snow overnight and build in more and more heading towards Sunday morning. Notice how the snow isn't really steady north of the metro. You got to go south where it stays snow all night Saturday night, all morning Sunday, and even into the afternoon before it pulls away down to the south. That's why the totals are going to drop off very quickly on the north edge of this system. A, because it just doesn't snow constantly, and B, there's a lot of dry air trying to intrude on the north edge of this. And normally, the north edge of these can be really tricky, and oftentimes dry air wins out and creates a very sharp cutoff on the north edge of these. So that's why I'm going 1 to 3 in the metro. I have been burned many times doing this on the north edge of these. So we'll see how it goes. 1 to 3 right now in the metro. You don't have to go very far south of the Platte River, and those totals are going to go up. We're going to watch this dark blue shading. I was tempted to slide it a little farther north into Sarpy County when we were doing the forecast today, but stuck with what we had. You go down farther south in Nebraska City, we got some big time totals. We're going to get in the double digits in several spots in the purple shaded area. It went 6 to 10 right now. Wouldn't be surprised if we get some 12s down there as well. You go north, it's a lot lighter. South, it's a lot heavier. Again, this is late Saturday, builds in, and then it really ramps up into Sunday morning and afternoon, especially in the purple shaded areas here. So the threats are going to be that freezing drizzle briefly changing to snow. It's going to be mostly a snow thing on Sunday. Heaviest to the south, the greatest impacts from that. You throw a little wind into the mix. Sunday, you could have some gusts up near 30 miles per hour blowing that around. Obviously, where you have more snow, that's a bigger problem. And then heading into Mondays where it gets a little bit colder. Here's where we're at right now. We have temperatures that are near 10 degrees in parts of Iowa. You got teens in Omaha, 20s to the west, mostly due to the clouds that have given way a little bit where it's a little colder here. So it feels like temperatures are down in the single digits in some spots, even below 0 as you step out this morning. Let's march through the forecast for today. It's going to be a lot of cloud cover that just doesn't move, so therefore it's going to be tough to warm up. So temperatures that are in the teens might not make it out of the teens in parts of western Iowa. If you're in the 20s, you're probably going to stay in the 20s. It's just once you build the clouds in, you don't have any help from the sun, and not a lot changes on a day like today. By 3 o'clock, you can see a few flurries. That'll be about the only thing. You have the thicker clouds and maybe some flurries dropping in with some of these every once in a while. But then overnight tonight, pretty quiet. Clouds will build in, and there's that little batch of snow that's trying to build in heading into Saturday morning. And this little stripe right here could put a little bit on the ground to start off Saturday morning. So you can see the cold air that builds in as we go through this stretch as well. And, well, that's kind of what we get after it, I guess.
And it's been a while since we've really seen cold air like that before.
Yeah.
Maybe like what, last January, last February? How do we see that impacting us after all that snow?
That's the thing. You put snow on the ground, you're just sitting on an ice cube, the cold air, nothing can warm. You get clouds and snow, and boy, is that tough. Look at the high temperatures. The coldest air temperature we've had is 9 degrees. And we may struggle to get above that on Monday for a high, the way things are looking. So a lot of teens in the forecast, and that's why Monday's a first alert weather day. Look at that wind chill Monday morning, down approaching 10 below in some spots. Several school districts will head back to school Monday morning. The rest will go back by Tuesday morning. So there's a couple of cold mornings. That's why we made Monday a first alert weather day as well, because of the cold that we will have as a lot of kids head back to school, and there's going to be a lot of walking to school, waiting for the bus. That's going to be a brisk and perhaps dangerously cold morning. We'll go up to about 15 for the high Tuesday and Wednesday, and then trying to climb at least into the 20s by the end of next week. So a lot of winter right there. Yeah. The warmest temperature for the next 10 days may have been yesterday.
You know, it's crazy when 20s sound good.
I know, right? It's all perspective, but yeah.
Oh my goodness. All right. You got to get ready for that. Meantime, we're going to go back to 72nd and Dodge. There's that investigation going on. But that, unfortunately, is a heavily traveled area. It's going to affect a lot of people's drive-in this morning.
That's exactly right. And we've got lane restrictions that have been in place as they've continued to investigate that scene. So let's talk about how that impacts things and how you may want to plan around that for your morning drive. Here's the area where this is in place. You can see the slowdowns as people start to approach that area and see the scene that is unfolding there with all of the emergency crews on hand. 72nd northbound also slowing down. You have to consider anyone who's trying to turn is seeing that restriction that's in place. And here's what you got. You are looking at the scene kind of starting to settle down a little bit, but you do still have a little bit of a scene there right on the right hand side. Looks like we're starting to get things moving toward getting a little closer to normal, but still watch for some of those emergency crews on scene. So we'll continue to watch that. It does look like we are going to be looking at things improving over the next 20 minutes or so based on what we're seeing there. But if you don't want to mess with it, there are some options to avoid that. You can use Pacific, you can use Cash, you can use Blondo to head eastbound. And those are some options that would get you where you need to go and not go through that stretch there on Dodge. Elsewhere, though, aside from that scene there at 72nd and Dodge, it's a pretty quiet start to our morning. Yesterday, remember, we had the snow around that caused some problems out there. No such case. This morning, you're looking from downtown, midtown. You're looking pretty good there. 144th and Dodge. No real problems there. And when we look at the overall map, you can see that things are moving along in really good shape at this point. Just a couple of small slowdowns on 370 as you're heading eastbound just past 144th. But once we get this situation on Dodge resolved, we're looking at a pretty smooth start to our Friday.
Okay. All right, Jarrett, thank you. We're caught on camera. Omaha police sending us this video showing a 71-year-old woman getting carjacked. This was in broad daylight. Now, we spoke with Khadijah Provencher in the hospital after this terrifying experience in a Home Depot parking lot. You can see the suspect manages to speed off with her car before bystanders call 911. We have not yet received word from police on where the investigation stands right now.
Public safety is top of mind for everybody after the New Year's tragedy in New Orleans. You might have noticed the small safety barriers popping up across the metro. These are called bollards. They serve as a simple purpose. It's really to keep people safe. Omaha City Council approved a project last month to put up the bollards in Benson. They'll be put up in 27 spots between 58th and 63rd.
Bollards will most likely go into the new bump outs we had with the new physical streetscape we did in Benson, most likely on the corners here and here. So when someone's crossing the street, they feel safer.
Construction will start either in March or April. It'll take about 2 months to finish up. Benson has already seen changes to boost pedestrian safety, such as curb bumps and shorter crosswalks.
All right, Aaron, thank you. Now to the First Alert 6 Safety Desk with Maria Cade. Maria, Rusty was just mentioning we have a First Alert 6 weather day due to the extreme cold we will see on Monday.
Yes.
Some of the coldest temperatures we've had all year, but all season really.
Yeah, and it's only going to get worse, as Rusty has said. If you're a driver, of course, you want to make sure that your battery is doing good, because we don't want to have any issues once that time comes, and you don't want to get stranded there. I know I don't.
No.
So if you are a driver, you're going to want to make sure that your batteries are working all good during these cold winter months, because that weather, as we know, can really impact your battery's performance. So regular checks can help keep your battery life going and make sure it has that best performance. Battery specialists say by doing some simple things, you can really help to make sure that your battery is all ready to go.
So if you see an indication of corrosion on your battery terminals, that's a good indicator that the battery is starting to fail or will fail. So the best thing to do is have that battery checked, have the terminals cleaned, and have the proper maintenance taken care of.
Now, he says if you are unsure of your battery's life, just take the precaution, go ahead and do it, get it checked out before time. It's better to be safe than sorry, we always say.
I think the same. Okay, so that's important for our car, but you have some important information for our health as well this morning.
I know, back pain, it's something that so many people experience on a day-to-day basis. Me too, I totally get it. It can have a really big impact on your body. Data from a National Health Interview survey showed that 39% of all U.S. adults reported having back pain in 2019, and the percentage of adults who experienced it increased with age. Now, more than 45% of people 65 and older say that they did have some form of back pain, and women were more likely to experience back pain than men. Now, new research suggests that there is an easy way to possibly prevent it. That's by doing something that most of us can all do, just walking. And it actually helps strengthen muscles, improves metabolism. But if you are just starting out, maybe putting this into your exercise routine, doctors say you shouldn't try and do too much at first.
Make sure to vary your pace and distance throughout the week, especially if you're in pain.
Now, Dr. Gupta says what you wear on your feet is also very important. We know that, so that you don't injure any other parts of your body. So if you're going out, maybe getting some new tennis shoes, make sure you get your feet sized properly, you have some good arch support. It's all going to be very important to make sure that you don't injure anything else.
You're right about that. All right, great information, Maria. Thank you. And we're going to be right back after this quick break. Stay with us.
All right, time now 7:15. Of course, today, cold temperatures, but pretty mild compared to what we're going to be seeing Sunday and Monday as well. So people should be aware.
Yeah, and it's snow. The more snow we get, the colder it's going to be likely, because that just reinforces the cold. And this is what we're watching here. A high of 24 today is the warmest we'll have through the weekend. Yeah, I know, not a lot of good news there, but excuse me. Let's focus a little bit on Saturday, because we may start with a little bit of light snow in the area very early. That will float out of here. This is the potential that I see for a little bit of freezing drizzle. Now, it looks a little more ominous than it'll actually be, but I would say once we get close to about 6, 7 o'clock and this fills in, that's when we need to watch out for a little light freezing drizzle or snow combo for Saturday evening, but it's mostly overnight when the snow potential really starts to ramp up, and that is what we will have on the ground heading into Sunday morning. So let me show you that. This is a different model here, starting off at about 1 a.m. with the snow, and then we'll have more and more of that heading into Sunday morning. And notice there's a really sharp north edge to this by 7 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. It consistently snows down to our south, where we continue to see more and more and more of that all the way through the morning, but a really sharp edge here, meaning it probably won't be steady snow in the metro. Could be little waves of it that add up some accumulation. Steady snow means bigger totals down to the south, and it's still snowing right down near the Kansas border by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So that is why Sunday, I think, is the more impactful of the 2 days. Most of Saturday will probably end up being pretty dry and cloudy and cold in between. 1 to 3 inches of accumulation. There's going to be a fair amount of dry air we got to overcome to start off this storm. So that's why I think the bigger totals are going to be down to the south, where it'll snow a little sooner and a little heavier and a little steadier. Notice some 6 to 10s down here in the purple shaded area. That's what we'll be watching for Saturday night late into Sunday. Threats for this storm system. I put wintry mix here, but it's a little freezing drizzle at the very beginning of it that will change to snow overnight Saturday night, and then Sunday's all about the snow. You got wind gusts to 30 miles per hour on Sunday, and then by Monday, the Monday morning cold with wind chills below 0 to start off. And we have some cold temperatures out there right now. Notice where it's cleared out a little bit in Iowa. We're down near 10 degrees. Feels like numbers are in the single digits below 0 in some spots. A little bit of breeze goes a long way. That first alert forecast for today, we're right around 20 to start. Best we can do is about mid-20s this afternoon. Hate to say it. So there you go. There's your first alert weather day. Sunday for the snow, Monday for the cold, Tuesday it's just cold. And you can see all the way into the end of this forecast here, it looks like we get some cold numbers on the way that at least try to get back closer to where we were earlier on in December anyway.
Yeah, those are some cold temperatures. How long will our cold stretch last, do you think, Russ?
Well, I'm trying to find any hiccup, any break in the pattern, anything that shifts a little bit. You can see we have temperatures in the teens for highs starting Saturday all the way through at least Wednesday. You get back into the 20s, maybe sneaking near 30 on Sunday. You can look a little longer range towards the middle of the month. You still have the colder than average weather winning out over the eastern half of the country, warmer to the west. So a trip to Phoenix, to LA, to San Fran looks like it's going to be A-OK, no problems there. But it's going to be really tough to break out of this cold pattern. And the amount of snow we get out of this system will play a big part in that because we're not melting it, and that just reinforces the cold every time. So I'm hoping we can get some 30s back by the middle of the month, but we're waiting a while. Have a little patience with this one. You got a lot of winter until we get there.
Okay, good to know.
Yep.
In the meantime, we have an update about that situation. You're 72nd in Dodge. What do you know, Jarrett?
Well, from a traffic perspective, appreciate all your patience. Voice is a little weird, but
we're getting through it.
We had the lane restriction that was in place. That has cleared up. So this is a big update for the morning drive. You can see that has moved out of the lanes of travel there. So things are moving through here in pretty good shape as you're heading along Dodge. This is a good news for anyone who would use that stretch for the morning, and there you can see that things are looking better as you approach that area. So as we make our way out and about, we zoom out, you can see there's no other major problem spots that we're seeing as we start off our Friday, and that's the perfect way to start a Friday, right? If maybe you're heading out of town, let's check in on Epley, and you can see things moving along fairly well right around the airport. As far as our travel speeds, we're seeing those dip right in the immediate vicinity, still in a very busy time frame for travel, and you can see that the speeds are dropping off. I'm actually going to switch the mode here on our monitor and show you what's happening with the flights out of Epley. We do have a couple of delays that have shown up, and they're all to Midway in Chicago. Pretty sizable delay there on a Southwest flight. We've got another one if you scroll down here, small delay there with that flight to Phoenix, but there's a different flight here this afternoon to Midway with some delays. If you're planning to go to Chicago, make sure you double check that flight, but otherwise looks like we're doing pretty well with any of those, and road travel going pretty well this morning as well, guys.
All right, Jared, thank you. Well, still ahead, there's a cow you can eat, but it's not made of meat.
All right, you're going to want to see this when First Alert 6 streaming comes back.
Welcome back, everybody. So what can you make with more than 1,000 pounds of butter?
I don't know, but for artists in Pennsylvania, they have an answer. It's a life-size cow sculpture that was just unveiled before the farm show. Now, it features a life-size cow next to a methane digester, which is a renewable energy system, plus some city too.
Yep.
The farm show is put together by hundreds of committee members and thousands of volunteers. It happens every year in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. This year's show is set to feature more than 275 vendors and 12,000 competition entries and 4,000 animals. We need Maria here. We keep having these Pennsylvania stories.
But you know what? You don't have to go that far. You can. The Iowa State Fair always features.
Okay.
Yeah.
The original.
The original, right?
Well, maybe not the original, so it probably melted, but you know.
Would that be the OC?
There's the city. They were.
The original cow.
The original cow. There you go.
Either way, it is impressive that they can do all that with butter, right? With butter.
Everybody's got to add extra stuff around it too. Never just a cow. We're on buildings and crops.
They have a little city around the cow.
Around it. It's a lot of butter.
Art with butter.
All right, everybody, now that we've got y'all wound up the cow, butter cow, thank you so much for joining us on this Friday morning. We're going to give you an update on that breaking news in our cut in just a few minutes away. We're going to get ready for that. You can watch it here on streaming or over the air.
All right, in the meantime, have a great start to your Friday and your weekend.
Live from WOWT. First Alert 6 starts now. Breaking news.
That breaking news we are following this morning. One person is dead, another in custody after an incident near 72nd and Dodge. You're taking a live look at the scene this morning. Now, OPD says officers responded to a call for shots fired. That's where they found a woman dead at the scene and did identify a suspect involved. Now, that suspect shot at one of the police cars when they arrived. Police fired back but did not hit that suspect. That person was then taken into custody. We're hoping to learn some more details about it as more information comes to us this morning.
Well, good morning to you. It is 7:26. I'm Cerise Cole.
And I'm Erin Hartley. We'll get an update on traffic in that area of 72nd and Dodge. Jared, what do things look like right now?
Yeah, we did have a lane closure on Dodge itself as a result of that. That has now been opened back up. You can see police still on the scene just off to the side of the road. But if you're using Dodge this morning, you can get through there without any impacts to your morning drive. You can see westbound with small delays. That's just a result of some of the busy traffic traffic that gets through that stretch. And when we zoom things out, we're mostly doing pretty well aside from that area where we have the busy traffic. So good news for anyone who is heading out and about. A little slow right near the airport. Keep that in mind if you're catching a flight. Rusty.
And plenty cold out there as well. Latest wind chills have really dropped along the river into the east, where clouds have cleared and there's a little bit more sunshine to start off the day. It feels like 2 below in Carroll, feels like 6 in Omaha right now. And the clouds are going to fill back in from the northwest, may even get a few flurries from these too. So we'll keep an eye on this as we go through the day. Right around 20 here to start off, up near 24 for the high today. Clouds win out all day long. And hopefully you can get a few peaks of sunshine through, but mostly cloudy is the name of the game. And then all the attention turns to the weekend. First alert, 6 weather day for Sunday due to the snow. Monday due to the cold. It's likely snow in the morning that impacts the majority of the morning hours on Sunday. Heaviest is going to be to the south out of this one. Could even start as a little freezing drizzle late Saturday night. We're back in a half hour.